All right, I'm going to go over the properties of water assignment because this is the one that a lot of students have problems with. And so we're going to just kind of give you some basics here. You'll go through, just like what I've suggest to everyone, make sure when you enter that first page, go to the objectives and see what exactly they are going to teach you. Make sure all your notes fulfill that information. That's going to be helpful. There is a text version. They'll do an introduction. Make sure that you either play it or read it. I suggest do both. And so there, you'll scavenge for information. There's some pretty interesting things in all these little interactives. All right, so we're just kind of go through. They talk about the water molecule, and then they'll have all types of little openings that you kind of go through. Make sure you open, you open all the links, and sometimes the links have links within them, and so don't miss out on any of that. If they have anything highlighted, make sure that you understand it. You have those in your notes. They talk about different bonding, the molecules. Remember, there's text versions of all these little interactives, so you can play them, you can read them, you can have them in your notes, you can open them and close them, that type of thing. Hydrogen bonding is a big issue with this assignment, so make sure you understand what they're talking about. They have some great videos and interactives with that. All right, so you'll go back and they'll talk about these different properties of water, and they'll open up and give you some details. These are the properties that you're going to be experimenting with. You're going to design your own experiment when you come up to the activity. But we'll just go through, and they talk about water being universal solvent, blah blah blah. They have all kinds of information about pH and so on and so forth. At the very end, they'll have a practice. Check yourself, make sure you understand the material. That will help you when you go to do your test and also your DBA. So that's page 3 of 3, and then we click on to the next page, which is your activity. They'll go through a summary, and then they'll go into the assignment. So in the assignment, you can't see the slide because I don't know, it's not showing up. I'm not going to play it because I can't make it stop. But it's very important that you focus on that because it is a student example. You can use that to model your lab report with. So that's the number one thing that people have a problem with. If you click text version, it's going to show you what the transcript is, and they'll also show you what your research is going to look like, how you would format your resources. So definitely look at this. That's where a lot of people forget. They don't realize that they have to do research and include that in their research section. So they'll go through, tell you how to do a hypothesis if you've forgotten, what your observations should look like, what your conclusions should be like, and everything that you should include in your conclusion, and especially the application. Give us a real world application to what this would apply to. So you're going to go in, there's a lab report right here, it's a link, it opens up what your lab report should be formatted as. And one of the problems that I have a lot of times is that they'll give you directions. So they'll say the title should identify the property of water that you're investigating. You come up with a title, but you do not put the directions in your lab report. You're going to put the title in your lab report. All right. And then everything else is pretty self-explanatory. Make sure that you do have your research in this lab report as well as your real world application. So you'll have safety notes as well. And so, like I say, go back and look at the student example. That will help you tremendously. Some of the suggestions I have are very, very simple. So it might be you're going to do, what is the effect of adding soap to water on surface tension? How would you test that? That's something you have to come up with. How do different materials affect capillary action? You might use a paper towel, see how fast water climbs up a paper towel. You might change the water. You might put something in it to see if you can change how fast the water draws up a paper towel. That's a really good one because you can measure distance and you can measure time. So that's a great one. And so, but don't overthink this. This should be very simple. It's going to show us that you've learned about water properties. you've learned about hydrogen bonding, you understand what's behind that, and that you can actually write a lab report and design a lab, and that you can practice scientific method. All right, and so I hope that helps you. If you have any questions, let me know. Good luck.